Hiya guys, and welcome to this video. So today we're going to be talking about 2-1-2 arpeggios on the guitar, and we're going to be using pentatonic scales to do that with. So the 2-1-2 technique has been around for many years. There was a book written in the 1960s by Chuck Wayne and Ralph Patt, and they catalogued many different 2-1-2 sounds. However, modern players such as Tim Miller also often use this technique, and they're often credited to this technique. So what is a 2-1-2 arpeggio? So all a 2-1-2 is we play two notes on one string, followed by one note on the next string, and then we repeat that pattern. Two notes on the next string, one note, two notes, and one note finally. So why they don't call it just 2-1, I don't know, but we often refer to these as 2-1-2 arpeggios. There are many different ways of doing this. Most commonly, we hear them just in 7-chord arpeggios. So there I played a minor 7 arpeggio, and it works wonderfully with this 2-1-2 technique. However, I wanted to create a little bit more of an intervallic texture at the start when I use this technique to play over a 2-5-1. So let's start off by looking at the basic pattern. First of all, guys, all these techniques are found in my book, Modern Pentatonics, which is available through my website. So please consider checking that out if you would like to go into greater depth on these topics. And also, it'd be greatly appreciated if you can give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. That will really help me out. Anyway, let's take a closer look at the 2-1-2 pattern I used to build that 2-5-1 idea at the start. So, as you see, I started on the root, I then hammered on the 4th by skipping the minor 3rd, then on the next string we just played the 5th, and then on the next string we're going to play the flat 7th, miss the root, and hammer on the minor 3rd, and then on the next string we're just going to play the 4th, and on the next string we're going to play the 5th, we miss the flat 7th and play the root, and then finally we're going to end up on a 4th on the top string. So we could just reverse down that same pattern, and that would be great. However, I want to add a little bit of extra colour on the way down, so we're going to restart the pattern from the top string. So we're going to start with 2 notes on the top string and ascend the same pattern but on the next set of strings across. So we're going to have a slightly different colour going down, which I think adds a little bit of interest to the sound. So that is a very common 2-1-2 pattern that I use a lot. Obviously on Patreon we'll be going through all the positions of that pattern, and there'll be a PDF available for that, and I'll also give a variation of the 2-5-1 lick using an alternative altered pentatonic. So please consider checking me out there if you'd like to go into this in greater depth. But let's now see how I applied that pattern to a 2-5-1 progression. So obviously we start on D minor 7 for a 2-5-1 in C major. So a safe bet is just to play a D minor 7 pentatonic scale over that chord. So we're going to use that pattern, but start it from our D here on the A string. We're going to ascend up that D minor pentatonic 2-1-2 pattern. Then, if you saw my video on Patreon last week about altered pentatonic colours, you'll know that we can play a minor pentatonic scale off the minor 3rd of an altered chord. So in this case, our G altered, we can play a B flat minor pentatonic over that. So that means we can descend down the 2-1-2 pattern of a B flat minor pentatonic. And finally, also on Patreon, we talked about how over a major 7 chord, we've got 3 options, and one of those, over a C major 7 chord, is E minor pentatonic. So we can then ascend up an E minor pentatonic shape. So putting that together, we've got our D minor pentatonic, B flat minor pentatonic, then E minor pentatonic. So that flows really nicely through the 2-5-1 progression, and it's a really nice colourful sound to have in your playing. So let's take a close-up look with the tabs of that idea. So that demonstrates how we can play over a 2-5-1 progression using these 2-1-2 pentatonic patterns. So I hope that was of some benefit to some of you. And as I said earlier, on Patreon, we'll be going through different 2-5-1 options using just the pentatonic scale. We'll also be going through all the positions of the basic 2-1-2 pattern I showed you, and we'll also look at some variations on that 2-1-2 pattern as well. So please consider supporting me over there if you'd like to go into greater depth on these topics. But anyway guys, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you very shortly for the next video.